Business Today is brought to you by...
Shouldn't banking start with you? After all, it's your life and we're just one part of it. So no matter what life throws at you, at Scotiabank we guide you through it with people who actually listen and with services that enable what matters most to you. Because at Scotiabank, it starts with you.
This is Business Today. I'm Marlon Madden. Government's planned debt restructuring exercise is expected to have a significant impact on Barbados' financial system. That's the view of Acting Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Barbados, Michelle Doyle-Lowe. She said while the level of impact was still uncertain at this stage, systems should be put in place to limit any shocks. She was addressing the recent Domestic Financial Institutions Conference at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center.
In particular, the impact of the new provisioning rules and the debt restructuring are uncertain, with the potential to compress the income of financial institutions. The ongoing macroeconomic challenges require durable solutions for the public finances and the reduction in the debt burden. We are certainly mindful that there must be some containment of the impact on financial institutions, which have a fiduciary responsibility to depositors and investors, and which serve the national interest by transforming savings into loans and investments in support of economic activity.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Services Commission, Kester Guy, gave the assurance that the regulator was not ignoring issues that affect the financial system. He said as technology continues to transform operations in the financial sector, including new standards, economic impacts, and demands, the FSC has been trying its best to keep a pace as it considers new risks that the sector would face.
While the reality is that we have not ignored the issues, regulatory non-responsiveness at times might simply be because we ourselves are trying to understand or grapple with some of the issues. We are looking at how our regulatory toolkit can be appropriately tweaked to facilitate some of these growing demands, including legislative adjustments, and the need to thoroughly examine the issues to minimize the costs associated with regulatory errors. These considerations are important for securing the resiliency of our financial architecture.
The transportation sector in Barbados is in for a major transformation. Minister of Energy and Water Resources Wilfred Abrams has disclosed that government will be pressing ahead with its announced policy measures to diversify the transportation sector. The local transportation sector uses about 3,500 barrels of oil per day, or just over 30% of the country's fuel imports. Of the more than 100,000 vehicles on the island's roads, about 300 of those are electric vehicles. Abrams said in an effort to mitigate against rising costs associated with oil imports, government was in the process of developing a more efficient and reliable transport sector that incorporates energy-efficient vehicles.
Under the Public Sector Smart Energy Program, my ministry is in the process of working with key stakeholders to purchase and pilot much-needed electric buses for Barbados Transport Board with the support of the Inter-American Development Bank and the European Union. Going a little bit off script here. We are also in the process of seeking to solve our garbage truck situation, and I'm assured and aware that one of the considerations we're looking at going forward as we replenish our fleet is the provision of electric garbage trucks as well. So we are, as a government, looking at all areas, and we're moving towards where we have to replace vehicles where appropriate, where efficient, or where possible, replacing our fossil fuel fleet with electric vehicles.
Digicel Group Limited plans to shed 450 of its Caribbean cell towers in a bid to reduce its leverage. Officials have opted not to give details of the plan, but said a sale and leaseback agreement had been signed and was expected to close at the end of the second quarter of its financial year. The deal would reduce Digicel's ratio from 6.7 times debt to equity to 5.7 times. The communications company is reported to have sold 202 communication towers in El Salvador to US-based Phoenix Tower International in a multi-million-dollar deal. Now for today's financial tip. One potential way of mitigating financial risk is using a fixed interest rate on debt payments and entering into long-term fixed contracts with suppliers where you are guaranteed to pay a set price over a certain period of time. That's been Business Today. Join us again on Tuesday. Until then, you can get more business and news by logging on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribing to our e-paper, and liking us on Facebook. I'm Marlon Madden.